Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have you all for this product suite that we are launching. We are going to talk about today on DASA Portfolio Product Management. This is a very important product suite from DASA. And today I have Rick, Dave, Jorgen, Hede with me to give you the details of the suite. Dave is an experienced independent change consultant specializing in agile and DevOps transformation, effective strategy development, portfolio and product management, and modern working methods. Dave's mission is to enable organizations become better versions of themselves. He has advised, trained, and coached clients such as Henkin, Bosch, Philips, Emirates, Rabobank, APG, Berman, UMC Utrecht, Siemens, and Grand Vision. So that's just to name a few. And Dave has been involved with DASA for several years as a strategic advisor and a key contributor and lead author. Jorgen the Lang is a seasoned consulting leader and a trusted advisor with a proven track record in transforming businesses in the digital world. He's experienced and creative and result oriented senior leader with a drive to maximize sustainable value. He's very passionate about inspiring people and enterprises to embrace transformation and innovation as key drivers to continuously create relevant value for all stakeholders. Jorgen emphasizes the relevance of understanding, aligning, and establishing the enterprise value perspective and syncing this with key objectives and initiatives from strategy to execution to maximize strategic value delivery. So, Jorgen's key mantra is value delivery. Hede is a senior manager, technology strategy and transformation professional based in the Netherlands. He has more than 15 years of experience in large scale transformation and strategy engagements for technology sector. And Rick, as you all know, is the force behind DASA. He's passionate about transforming organizations or helping organizations become these high performance digital organizations. And this shows in everything he does and in his guidance in shaping the DASA portfolio. So we will all hear from them today. Now, before I hand it over to them to talk to you about the products, about this product suite, I let's do a little bit of a housekeeping. Um, The recordings of this webinar will be made available to everyone who registered for this event. Please use the comment section to ask your questions to the experts during the session. We will answer all your questions at the end of the webinar. And if you have any additional questions, please send us an email at the ID shown on the screen. I will now request Rick to tell us about why this product suite on portfolio management is so important for DASA.
Yes, thanks, Pragya, for the nice introduction. For those new to DASA, let me start by briefly outlining our own why, our mission. We position ourselves as industry body. We have a global community and a global positioning, and we would like to be the go-to partner for enterprises that indeed want to transform towards what we call high-performance digital organization. We do so by investing continuously in our know-how, our body of knowledge, captured in all kinds of talent and guidance products. Some of them will be highlighted today in this webinar, but we also invest continuously in our ecosystem, in our global community, and together we can basically reach as many enterprises as possible and try to help them in all kinds of ways. And this is starting to really work and scale, I would say. On the next slide, you can see a sample of some of the organizations that work already with DASA or are inspired or are actual active evangelists of the good cause, all kinds of enterprises, but also transformation and training partners we have in our ecosystem. There are too many to list them all, but it gives you a good indication of our global reach. And I'm very proud to work with leaders and experts of all these organizations. And as you can see with the facts and figures on the right side of this slide, we have, of course, a ton of knowledge captured in white papers, in articles, in videos, We recently had our yearly DASA Connect event with lots of nice keynotes, workshops, and panels. So it's growing by the day, and I'm very proud to lead this global initiative that brings all this knowledge together in a feasible way, because well, organizations need help with their journeys. And as we can see on the next slide, it's not that they all are completely new to transformation or they didn't start yet. They're all, most of them, most of the enterprise leaders I talk to have embarked on some sort of digital transformation. They all know the sense of urgency they face because of the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world we live in. They want to be more resilient. They want to be more responsive. Um, they want to maximize value they get out of their digital assets and use their digital products to create more value for their customers and employees. A typical transformation journey they would go through is listed here, depicted here. It always starts with some kind of sense of urgency, a vision, one or multiple leaders who create a vision. Then it is actually scheduled a transformation, large or small, by thinking of who is driving it, how do we measure success, what kind of approach will we take, etc. And then the actual hard work is put in the transforming the enterprise phase. So why do we have such a journey mapped out? It's kind of a meta image, perhaps you think. We use it to make sure that all our products and solutions are mapped uh, well on each and every of these phases so that they can be as comprehensive and as useful as possible throughout the whole transformation journey of enterprises. And for that reason, we can cater for all kinds of scenarios. And on the next slide, you see a blink of this because we focus on the typical themes, the transformation themes that we believe are fundamental in understanding and also building and investing in your organization to truly become a high performance digital organization. It's not a uh, logical ordered set of things. You can, of course, start at the top, but you can equally well start in the middle or at the bottom. Sooner or later, though, you will benefit from having some investments in all of these categories. And they're still fairly high level, of course, but building on key principles and practices from the DevOps and Agile and Lean world, you will most likely end up with cross-functional, end-to-end responsible product teams, software teams who are owning the digital products that they focus on. And they need a lot of help in terms of technology landscape and infrastructure, but they can also be helped with the proper leadership, the proper culture, the proper behavior they have to adopt themselves, but also elements in the organization. And that brings us to the focus of today's webinar on what it is to actually maximize the value they want to bring to the market. So our portfolio is built around those themes. And on the next slide, you see an overview of our DASA portfolio as it is shaping up these months. You will see highlighted here in the bottom right corner, a triangle depicting the theme focusing on value maximization. Focusing on flow in the end also leads to more value, business value for your stakeholders. And we have a number of products that focus on that. And one product suite in particular is the portfolio management product suite that is featuring today in this webinar. It's important to recognize, as is listed here in these principles on the left side of the slide, that we build those product suites with experts and thought leaders in our network so that they are not just first ideas or drafts, but actually proven building blocks that have helped many enterprises in the past, captured in productized assets that you can benefit from yourselves. They capture the various themes, but also the typical transformation phases, as I said, and we design our product suites in a MECE manner. That means that they are mutually exclusive, but also collectively exhaustive. And for this reason, uh, using our DASA product suites help you in various ways, and you can be certain that even if you don't use all the elements, it contains everything you do need if you want this capability to the maximum level. And that's really awesome to see working in reality. If we zoom in on the next slide on the specific triangle that was listed there, we see also the advantage of investing in the various product suites that we have recently launched or will launch in the same month. So last month we focused in another webinar on our product management uh, product suite. And later this week, we have a similar webinar as this one on focusing on experience management. And together with those two, the portfolio management value box and certification program help maximizing the value you can get out of your digital products. In a way, you could say that those three together, those capabilities, if you find the sweet spot, if you connect the dots, it can help you to not only select or focus on the right products that you want to deliver. That's the subject that portfolio management is all about, and how to maximize value, how to determine value, how to choose, but also make sure that from the total product lifecycle that you create those products in the right way, those digital products. And last but not least, you have to ensure that those products actually deliver the right value and experience to your customers and stakeholders. And there are ways to measure that as well. So it's a powerful combination, and it could well be that you are already familiar to our product management product suite, or are interested or working in experience management. Then it's extra important and valuable for you to zoom in today on what portfolio management can bring you and your organization. And that brings us to the actual product suite that we will introduce now. It contains a number of things, and the product architects listed on the next slide will be the best persons equipped to bring you up to speed on all the details. So Dave, Jorgen, and Hedde. And Pragya already did a great introduction of them three, so I will not repeat it here. But I'm very proud to work with those guys, and I'm convinced that the products that you will see today uh, cannot be just very inspiring, but also very valuable to your organization context. So Jorgen, I think over to you for actually starting the discussion and introducing the product suite, right?
Yeah, thanks, Rick. So I will introduce the portfolio management product suite, and Dave and Hedde will deep dive into the two main components later on. While creating the portfolio management product suite, we adopted four key design principles. It should be methodology inclusive. We don't rely on a single methodology, but we leverage the strength of various best practices, and of course also our own experience and experience of others. And next to that, practical guidance. The suite should be practical and tangible. It provides insights, frameworks, and tools to really mature the portfolio management capabilities in your organization. Third, enterprise-wide scope. We take an enterprise-wide scope on portfolio management. It supports multiple portfolios, but it is also flexible enough to adopt to your specific needs in the organization. And last but not least, strategic agility. The product suite is designed to optimize flow of value through your organization, aligning strategy with portfolios, and of course portfolios with execution, with delivery. If we go to the next slide, this is how we look at portfolio management. We take an integral approach toward portfolio management by combining both project portfolios and product and service portfolios. Both deal with allocating resources, prioritizing, and decision making, and combining all portfolios. And next to that, introducing a portfolio vision, strategy, an office, and a management increases the strategic impact of the organization, allowing the organization to maximize the strategic impact and the potential value of overall investment, all investment of all portfolios. If we go to the next slide, everyone that has a role in portfolio management, worked in portfolio management, or wants to have an initiative adopted, experiences challenges in portfolio management. The portfolio management product suite is designed to provide practical tools and guidance to tackle these challenges. We listed a few of them on this slide. As you can see, it often starts with a lack of clear portfolio strategy or alignment with the overall strategy of the organization. And next to that, you have what we see sometimes inadequate portfolio governance. That there is not clear governance who is deciding on what and how and when. Um, Insufficient alignment between strategy and execution. In the end, you decide on something, and is it adopted by your teams to really deliver on that value promise? Overburdened resources, ineffective prioritization and decision making, lack of visibility and transparency. How do you report on your value that is being delivered? Are there any risk of reaching achieving the expected value? Poor communication and collaboration. Communication, is everybody aware of the expected value, and is everybody willing to deliver that, to deliver on their own responsibilities? Inflexibility and slow feedback loops. uh, Continuous improvement processes are not always part of portfolio management. It can really improve the effectiveness of portfolio management in your organization. Inadequate portfolio performance tracking. Is your portfolio, is the expected value of your portfolio realized? And can you proactively steer upon the insights that you have in your organization? And last but often not least, the resistance to change in your organization and the lack of agility in portfolio management processes. Not everybody wants to adopt, for example, decisions made in a portfolio board. Probably you know much more examples, but these are some examples that we for sure want to tackle with our portfolio management framework that we see on the next slide. So here you see the portfolio management framework that we designed to tackle the common challenges that we just discussed. Inside you see the three core portfolio management capabilities: align, operate, and decide. And they are around the different portfolios. The three core capabilities ensure optimal portfolio management execution. But as you also know, portfolio management is not a standalone process. So communicating effectively with the influencing factors, and here we covered those influencing factors in four main items, increases the success of overall portfolio management in your organization. Then integrating with these influencing factors is also part of the portfolio management framework. Next slide, please. So because portfolio management, as we just saw, is important to maximize value and flow in your organization, and we see our clients struggle with it, we designed the DASA portfolio management product suite, and it consists of two main components. First, we have a 2-day certification program. Dave will deep dive into that a little bit later, and we are designing almost ready the portfolio management value box. Next week is the real kickoff. That is really designed to start maturing your portfolio management capability. Next slide. Each product suite or component of the product suite has its own beneficiaries. You see some listed here. We have the certification program for portfolio managers until project managers, and we have the value box, including the portfolio management consultants until the strategic leadership, because they also have an important role in the portfolio management success. This is the introduction of the portfolio management product suite. Dave will now deep dive more into the certification program. So I hand it over to Dave.
Thanks, Jorgen. So we started up the portfolio management 2-day program some time ago, and what we had in mind were these key learning objectives. And what we do in the 2-day program is that we start with highlighting not only the importance of aligning with your business objectives, but also giving tangible instruments and how do you actually align with those key business objectives and how do you create a portfolio strategy and vision out of that. And if you have a portfolio strategy and vision and roadmap, and you have an idea where you're heading to, you also want to know what is the most ideal way to organize this. So how do we organize the teams in an effective way to create all those things that we decide upon in the portfolio? So that's also something that we touch upon in this 2-day program, including the tangible instruments that you then use in order to set up a good governance for this. So what are the key roles and responsibilities that you need for this? What kind of flow instruments do we use, like Kanban board? How can you create an effective flow in your end-to-end portfolio process? How do you deal with the backlogs? What about decision making and also indeed translating that to execution? And at the end, of course, how do you implement portfolio management? Where do you start? How do you scale up? How can you make sure that it's actually reassured in all of your core processes? So that is what we tackle in the 2-day program. The next slide actually shows all of the modules that we have put together for this. So it starts by the basics and making sure that we all understand what is a portfolio, how do you do portfolio management, what are the necessary capabilities, skills, competencies you need for this. How do you organize it? How do you set up the right governance practices? How do you create flow? And at the end, how do you do effective implementation? So it's really a point-to-point, gradual introduction of the key concepts of portfolio management. And the next slide also shows that we end, of course, with an exam so that you are able to certify. And it, of course, if you are a trainer, you need to have a higher score than regular learners in order to be able to actually show the value and be able to train, the other people. And so, as said, it is a 2-day program, and we also have a self-paced version for this. So this is how you can get yourself or get, your students certified. Now, Hedde will dive into the value box.
Thank you, Dave. Indeed. Can I have the next slide, please? So, of course, deciding the value box, we took how do you put it, with the end in mind. So we started out with, okay, so what is the expected results if we do this right? And I think we've heard many of these things in the other way as key challenges that are common. But we wanted to focus on alignment in the sense that are all the new initiatives in alignment with strategic choices, but also your existing product and service portfolio. We wanted to focus on fast, data-driven, effective decision making, and this creates really enables an agility, and then a very common focus on improving the return on investment, and this is really done with a structured approach in measuring, in defining value, measuring value, and really using those insights in your key decisions. There's an alignment need around resource utilization. So can we predict? Do we know when do we need what skills, what capabilities, so what resources, to make sure that is effectively enabled for HR and for delivery organizations. I think really a key is risk management, to align, to make sure that the different risks that are in your portfolio inherently are taken care of, are mitigated. And the last 2 points here really focus and driven on a very predictable structure that you create around your portfolio. This really helps driving engagement from your stakeholders because everybody knows what they can expect from you when. Can I have the next slide, please? So the value box, as I said before, really has as a goal to help mature the capability of portfolio management in an organization. We've designed it with 5 products, and the first one is a paper really detailing the framework that Jorgen just quickly showed, and really focusing on explaining why it is that way, how this relates to other concepts, etc. The second bit is a in-depth assessment, which really gives you proactive, tangible, actionable insights in how do I mature my organization. Then the third is a workshop. It's a 2-session workshop, so it means it's 2 different moments, really designed together with the key people within an organization, knowing my assessment, knowing my situation. How do we create a agreed upon tangible roadmap to in a short period of time drive maturity of the portfolio management capability? The fourth one, and we had the pleasure of running this workshop on DASA Connect, is together with your portfolio board, which is one of the key forums or gremia within the organization. It's the key decision-making body within the portfolio. You need to make sure that such a board has effective and desirable behavior, because that just enables working together and making sure that that decisions are made in time, made correctly, and can be carried out. The last one, the portfolio leadership workshop, focuses on ensuring and really inviting other key leaders to understand why are we driving an initiative on portfolio management. How can they help to really strengthen so that you maximize value for the enterprise? You can have the next slide. So again, now I dive into each of the individual components for a moment. So the first one, again, the portfolio management capability framework paper is meant to make sure that there is a common language for managing portfolios, and it provides a holistic perspective on the 3 key required capabilities. Can I have the next slide? The capability assessment. This exists within in the Data Hub. This is a questionnaire. There's a maturity model behind this. So this, based on the maturity model and the current situation or current assessed capability of the organization, this will provide you very specific, tangible insights. Where are we good? Where do we have weaknesses? Where do we have opportunities? And what are the challenges or threats that we need to mitigate? Can I have the next slide? So the co-creation workshop, this is a 2-session workshop where together with the key stakeholders of your portfolio, you co-create your improvement plan or your improvement approach. First, you focus on taking stock of the situation. What is the current situation? Typically, you would a great way to do that would be the capability assessment first, and then prioritizing what elements out of that need most attention. Once it is prioritized, it will transform into a co-creation activity where you agree on the main objectives, on key results, initiatives needed, and then everything from getting the plan or the approach from the paper into action. Can I have the next slide? The portfolio board behavior workshop. This workshop is designed around a couple of activities. First, you need to make sure that everybody understands the same thing under behavior. And what is behavior? How do we describe it? Then with the group, prioritize what behavior is desirable. What do we need? What do we want? Once we have that agreed and detailed so that it's specific enough so you can focus on it, you can and encourage each other on it, we draft it into a code of conduct to help make it stick and make sure that we implement it or include it into the overall portfolio governance so that it gets reinforced every time the portfolio board meets. Can I have the last slide? The portfolio leadership workshop, really focusing on ensuring that enterprise leaders understand their role in sponsoring, mandating, and adopting portfolio management. And the approach is, this is focused on key leaders, in very influential stakeholders in your organization that are not necessarily always part of the portfolio board. But it is crucial in success of portfolio management capability to enlist them, to make sure that they put their weight behind what happens in the portfolio board. And this workshop is really designed to inspire these leaders to do that and to make it very practical for them how they can help, so that we then also can ask for commitment and make sure that they show that example behavior that you really need as an organization to ensure stakeholder engagement all throughout. Can I have the next slide? And this is to wrap up our detailed discussion on the value box. Just a slide on where we show how is it delivered. The entire value box is designed so it can be mostly around sessions. They can be executed virtual or in person. And for the assessment, there is a module within the DASA hub. And I will hand over now to Pragya for all the practicalities going forward.
Thank you, Hede. Now, all the products that you heard about will be hosted on a platform, the DASA Hub, which Hede just referred to. Our platform is called the DASA Hub. It has a large course library, which is driven by the DASA competency framework. And it facilitates classroom, virtual classroom, and self-paced learning. On completing the learning, the learners can also earn a digital badge via the platform. You can also deliver all the workshops using the platform. It gives the flexibility to edit and contextualize the workshops as per your context. And you can do multiple contextualized deliveries using the platform. Similarly, organizational assessments are to be done via DASA Hub for thousands of users. It provides you with all the features of running multiple organizational assessments for the different or even the same organization. So you can do you can do the assessments for the same organization as well after a period of time if you want to measure how the current organization is faring after you have taken certain steps. So that is also possible within the platform. DASA Hub also provides a transformation objectives dashboard that will help you with the goal setting and tracking. Very soon, we will be coming up with DASA communities, which will be hosted on DASA. The DASA communities will also be hosted on DASA Hub, and there are many exciting features coming up, such as Copilot, Transformation Central Hub features, user management, creating personal content library. You'll be able to create your own content library, etc. So let's move on. Now, the next slide is about how can you how can you become a DASA portfolio management product suite? How can you deliver this product suite or any product suite? Now, for that, you need to attend, to deliver the value boxes, you need to attend the Train the Trainer facilitator and become an accredited trainer. Now, and this will also be hosted via the DASA Hub, the Train the Facilitator session for the value box, as well as if you want to become an accredited trainer for the certification program, then you need to attend the Train the Trainer sessions. So there is train the facilitator session to be attended for the value box if you want to become a user to deliver the value box, and train the trainer session for the certification programs. These sessions are conducted by our master facilitators and our trainers, or who are the designers of these programs, the architects of these programs. You can attend the virtual session or the flex session. A virtual live session will be conducted. These are scheduled. You will find the schedules of the virtual live sessions on our website. And the flex sessions are the self-paced ones, which that you can do at your own time, own pace, and you can earn the badge. There are special pricing for the first cohorts of TTTs and TTF. Talking about the pricing, let's move to the next slide. And let's look at a pricing model. We have a per user pricing model. We have special volume pricing and separate regional pricing for the value boxes. The pricing includes user license to deliver the products, the digital badge, and to access the updated materials for the value box. We quarterly update the materials. The value box pricing also gives you access to the value box community, and helps you interact with the other users of the value box, and you can leverage and learn from their experience of transformations. So that's for the value box. For the certification program, the license pricing is for the bundle, which means for the courseware, assessments, and some additional or reference content which will be available on the DASA Hub. We have a regional pricing for the certification program, and as I told you earlier, you need to attend the trainer sessions and earn your accreditation to run these courses. Now, what's next coming up is on the next slide, the next steps. Um, we'll have the train the facilitator session for the value box on 20th of June. We have already launched the DASA portfolio management certification program, and we have some accredited trainers. There are the flex session is available if you want to become an accredited trainer for the certification program. The flex is available, and we also have the schedule for the live session, so you can opt for any one of these. But the first train the facilitator session for the value box is scheduled for 20th of June, and we will be launching the first value and this value box on 1st of July. So those are the next steps. Please, if you want to enroll for train the facilitator session for the value box, please get in touch with your DASA SPOC. You can send them an email, or you can just speak to them. Now it's time for questions. Do you have any questions? Let me look at some questions if we have any. So I can see that, do we have to do this specific assessment, or can we also make use of an existing or recent assessment and start the roadmap workshop from that? Dave or Hede, Jorgen, would you want to answer that?
Sure, I'll answer. So it is important to have a common view on the current situation. When you start the co-creation, the roadmap workshop, it works very well together with the assessment within the DASA value box. But if you have another agreed comprehensive assessment done recently, then that can be incorporated as well. And there is, within the details of the facilitator notes, there's instructions how to incorporate that within the workshop that you then run. So yes, that can completely be done. Both the workshop, both with the assessment that is provided in the value box, or a good comprehensive alternative assessment.
Okay. I see that there is a question on the relationship between our DevOps materials and portfolio product and experience management product. Um, would you want to take that?
Yeah,
There's a question. Yeah.
yeah, sure. So, um, of course, having the DevOps principles, the six DASA DevOps principles, it is also very much in line with what we are developing right here in all of the other products. For instance, in portfolio management, we show how you can apply the six DASA DevOps principles on a portfolio level. So, for instance, create with the end in mind. What does that mean for your portfolio management capability? It's part of the 2-day program to make sure that people actually embrace those principles. And the other way around, as soon as also portfolio management comes to the moment that you actually want to execute it through the teams, it is essential that those teams know which way are we going, and to have a vision in place. Where's our product going towards? So product vision and product roadmaps, those are essentially part of the product management suite that we have. So and currently we're building the experience management suite, which is very much making sure that if you develop a new product or an existing product and you change something and you deploy it, you want to know what is the actual experience that people are having with the adjusted program. So if you use things like continuous delivery that are part of our DevOps way of working in our fundamentals program, and you continuously actually develop and deploy new chunks of value to your customers, you want to know not only in terms of operational data how it's performing, but also what the actual experience is, and if there's a delta in the experience based on the new functionality you just deployed. So there's very much a content relationship between all of those programs, and we're trying to incorporate as much as possible the same principles, and wherever possible, of course, also align with the practices. So if we talk about Obeya, which is an instrument that you can use from a product standpoint, but also very much from a portfolio standpoint. And so we need to make sure that in all of the products that we're using, that the same principles and the same concepts, they're aligned with each other. So yes.
Maybe to add to that, Dave, I like the explanation. I see in many organizations that the first phase they typically invest a lot in end-to-end product teams, adopting some core of the principles like you just explained, some new ways of working, and to a certain extent, those teams then work independently and start to grow and increase their maturity and their performance. But as things scale, and this is also a debate that is heavily fought over on social media, especially in recent months. I see a lot of LinkedIn posts on it. As it scales, what kind of structure, what kind of format works well to coordinate things along all teams? And there are, of course, scaling frameworks and approaches to this with all the pros and cons. But if you really want to focus on value maximization, it becomes increasingly important to define what does constitute value, but also streamline things like setting up governance, doing a portfolio board properly, making sure that all the business stakeholders and IT stakeholders jointly determine how can we make the life of a typical product leader or product owner a little bit easier, because otherwise I've seen that happening a lot in organizations. These people in those roles are really finding it hard to deal with all the various inputs they receive from all corners in the organization. So a risk of just neglecting this is that people will later blame, let's say, agile working or DevOps principles, while they didn't figure out this capability, this part of the puzzle, I would say. So if you invest in agile or DevOps ways of working. So that's another way to approach this question. I think you rather sooner than later should also rethink the way you do your investment management and portfolio management. And that's why we see an increasing need in the market for many enterprise leaders to get help there. And that's why we designed this product suite.
Okay, there are some other questions. Um, so, what common pitfalls in portfolio management does the value box address? How does the value box ensure strategic alignment and value delivery within an organization? Can you explain how the value box helps in improving the maturity of portfolio management capability? And what are the main, oh, we just talked about the main components of the DASA portfolio management value box, but yeah, value box helps. So can I please request Jorgen to take that? What common pitfalls in portfolio management does the value box address, and how does the value box ensure strategic alignment and value delivery within an organization?
Yes, I can. At least I will try to. What we often see at our clients, of course, also I am also going to clients a lot, is that there are many perceptions on value. Everybody looks at value in a different way. And next to that, organizations do not always have a very clear strategic direction and related objectives converted into an appealing value story that is known, um, yeah, by both leaders and teams to drive targeted value delivery. And this clear value story is needed for clear prioritization based on value, a value that actually supports strategic objectives. Um, Next to that, we often see that portfolio management capabilities are not fully adopted in the organization, and that the behavior, for example, synchronizing the targeted value delivery from what has been decided towards the teams, is not always optimal. And also, yeah, teams sometimes they think, they believe that the value that they are providing to the organization is much more important than the value that is decided in the portfolio board, for example. And so those are certain pitfalls that we often see and also try to tackle with the value box, with the product suite. I mean, I can mention many more pitfalls. Yeah, maybe we can, if there are any more questions on this, I can answer it at any moment. You're on mute, Pragya.
I'm so sorry about that, but there's one more question for you. That why do you think portfolio management as a capability has been for many years quite a struggle for many enterprises and enterprise leaders to do right? On the one hand, it doesn't seem like rocket science, but especially when investing in DevOps and agile ways of working, many organizations seem to struggle quite a bit with it.
Yeah, well, it also has to do with the answer to the previous question, but nowadays we see, in the traditional way of budgeting, every the organization have a yearly budget, but what we now see is that people start to implement or introduce a lean agile budgeting, so that the agile teams really need to pool budget from the organization. um, that is one thing that is currently happening, and that is new. Another thing is that nowadays the scarcity of resources is becoming a big thing. Everybody is yeah, using the same pool of talent in organization and partners, and they really now need to start maturing their portfolio management capabilities in order to synchronize supply and demand on resources. Um, yeah, we see that happening more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I may add, Jorgen, indeed,
Hmm.
I fully agree. what you see in the more traditional way of looking at portfolio management, we were actually deciding on projects, and those projects were containers of work where we brought people to. Right now, in an agile DevOps way of working, we have more and more, long-lasting product teams where we actually don't bring the people to the work, but we bring the work to the people. So we have long-lasting teams indeed, and we fund the teams, we fund the value streams, and we bring work towards those teams. And that's a different way of looking at your investments and choosing not only what are my primary investments and are the primary chunks of work that we want to do first, but also how can we then optimize and make use of the limited capacity we have in the right way. So organizations actually struggle with that part of capacity management, and actually dealing with those new ways of working and those new way of organizing.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Okay. So I think those are the questions that we had for today. If you have any other questions, please send it, your queries, your questions, your doubts, at the email shown on the screen. And you can also request for a demo by sending us an email there. Thank you so much all for participating in this webinar today. We are so glad to have you. Thank you so much and have a good day.